Good morning, everyone. I have come out to a beautiful spot, I'll show you, where it's nice and quiet, and I'm going to chat with you on this beautiful September morning. I'll put you right now. It's all misty and wet this morning in the UK, and it's definitely the end of summer. Boo! I love the sun, but this is kind of nice too. It's all wet and rainy, and I might go for a run later if it's dry enough. Anyway, I wanted to pop on here and do one of my talking videos because so much has been going on internally for me. There's a lot of transitions that are taking place externally in my life and in my, just the way that my day-to-day is going to look. And when we're in a time of the unknown or a time of change, your nervous system can feel like that's a threat, like something's going to go wrong. And it's funny, if you become the observer of your own thoughts, you can see it happening. And you can see, sometimes a bit of panic will rise up or a bit of fear around, well, what's next? And, oh, I'm losing everything. That's how it sometimes feels. I'm losing everything, and you want to cling. But I'm not, it's not my first rodeo, should we say. Been through enough transitions to be able to observe it and say, hey, it feels like that, but every ending is the opportunity for a new beginning. And so a lot of emotion came up during this transition, because there are things that are leaving that, you have a normal level of grief to say, well, that will never be the same again, and that's changing and that's transitioning. But, rather than kind of like solidifying thoughts or fears in my mind, I just allowed myself to feel these emotions. And I would say for a good couple of days, I had a lot of tears. And I also had this feeling that spirit was brewing. That's a good word, brewing something in me. It felt like a churning. I felt it, in my stomach. I felt it in my body. And these tears were coming. And I felt these tears were very healing. And tears are necessary. I think tears are a very necessary part of grief or moving on or just allowing your emotions to come up and be released. It felt like I was releasing. And also there's this feeling, I don't know if you relate to this, but when you're a kid and you've cried for a long time, and then you get to that sort of place, and there's this weird sort of calm that used to come over me in that place as a kid. And I used to quite like that feeling because it meant that I was done crying, and this weird wave of comfort would come in the aftermath of the tears. And as an adult, I've been crying quite a lot. It's not just like the odd tear. I've been quite tearful and quite, not guttural, not deep guttural, but somewhere in between. And then this strange comfort would come. You can hear spirit chattering to me. And I did hear God comforts those when their hearts are broken, or God is close to the brokenhearted. And for me, spirit is a source of comfort. And I will never be quiet about that, because that's my own experience and nobody can take that away from me. But in this time of tears, such a beautiful view, by the way. There's like birds and the outline of the trees and the mist. Anyway, I get distracted. Yes, there was this feeling of, I might feel sad. I wouldn't say broken-hearted. It seems very strong. But in my sadness and in my sorrow and in my tears, I really felt a sense of comfort, which was outside of me, inside of me. It wasn't me comforting myself. It really felt like spirit. And a couple of things have been going on. One I will share when I've been given the permission, But during this time, a friend of mine, and there's a whole backstory of how I've met this person, went missing. And it wasn't just, oh, they've gone missing. There was a whole backstory as to this person has been a victim of a very serious hate attack and ended up in hospital, almost losing their life. And Spirit sent me to him in spirit, and it was a very intimate, out-of-body experience. And from his recovery, when he came out, I was sharing things that I could see in spirit. We're at the other side of the world. Anyway, I will share that story more in depth. But this particular person, we then became good friends. And then he went missing, and we all panicked because we were worried that he was in danger from the previous experience. Anyway, where am I going with this? Yes, so this was on my mind on top of this feeling, and I was praying and I was interceding. And it's very rare. I used to fast quite a lot in my early 20s, fast and pray. I haven't been called to fast or felt the need to for a good 2 decades. But this time round, I really felt Spirit say, fast and pray for this man and his family. And I put out a call on my socials to say, if anyone has any faith, and it doesn't have to be the same look or the same box as mine. I don't think I have one, to be fair, but I put out a call for people to pray. But it was also on my mind, like, is he okay? And I was getting downloads of visions of specifics of locations and what was happening or what had happened, and it didn't feel good. But at the same time, I was also scanning in my spirit, like, is he alive? And it kept feeding back to me that yes, he's alive. But I had no solid evidence of that, and the families all, the police weren't out, and family haven't seen or heard from him. His phone was lost, his wallet was on the floor, his car keys were on the floor, and on the surveillance, the last time he'd been seen was like being taken away by someone. This is a story that will unfold, I believe, and maybe share more, but my point is, I felt in my spirit God had told me where he had last been seen and something about the scenario, but also that he was not no longer with us, and I was called to this fast. And then last night as I went to sleep, there's a lot more to it, but last night as I went to sleep, I had a flash image of my friend texting me saying they found him, and I woke up to that exact text. And I never know where these talks are going, but this talk is about the importance of the fragrance of your soul and the importance of who you are, and it's maybe just off the back of what I said yesterday. Some of us are here, well, we're all here for a reason, and I think our soul signed up for things way before we were even conceived. Long before we were conceived, we were known. We were known what we were here to do. And in this mix of all these emotions and all these things that were going on, there was this deep calling to my depths, because I'm aware that I haven't been living fully to the full capacity of what I'm here to do, because there's parts of me that are scared. There's parts of me that have had negative experiences of giving my soul and bearing my soul to the world. But there's also been very amazing, miraculous stories. And I know now that enough is enough, and I've got to give that gift to the world. There's lots of things that I know that I need to do. It's going to end. I need more than 10 minutes. I'll do it part 2.